always have to keep going to another level. So I stand on the shoulders of my successes and my trophies, but I don't sleep in the trophy room.
No sleep.
What up? My name is Los Antonio. Welcome back to No Sleeping in the Trophy Room. I came uptown to come check in with my brother. He's Forbes noted. He beat Bobby Flay, and he's cooking for J-Lo and A-Rod. I'm talking about the one and only, my good brother, Chef Kelvin.
Los. I had to bring you uptown, but I'm glad we're keeping the Miami vibe.
Absolutely. No, thank you for taking the time to come step into the trophy room, man.
Absolutely. It's been a long time coming, and I'm happy we're here.
Absolutely, man. So Kelvin, I want to start, where it all started for you. Talk to me a little bit about your journey into the kitchen. How did you get there?
I fell in love with this girl. Her name is Maria, and she was into a cooking program. And we went to Long Island City High School. And of course, the first year I wasn't paying attention. I was just there because I wanted to support my girlfriend, because she came to every wrestling match, every football game, every baseball game. And she says, when are you gonna start supporting me the way I'm supporting you? And that's when I decided, I'm like, all right, let's see, what do you want me to do? She's like, join cooking class. I'm like, I'm not wearing an apron. I'm like, I was 5 feet tall in high school. And I'm like, thank God I'm 5'5" now, but
right.
I'm like, as guys, you tease a little bit, I'm like, they're gonna throw me in the locker. They're gonna call me, Chef Boyardee. Like, we don't need that, so.
This is high school?
This is high school, man. This is over 20 years ago, man. I started when I was 15 years old, and I remember making my first brownie and giving it to one of my friends and seeing their reaction. And that moment right there, I fell in love with making people happy. It took me 20 years to realize that I don't love to cook. I love to make people happy. This is the experience that we're creating.
Oh, that's amazing. And you know what? Food does that. It literally can change your mood. It's, it could be a timestamp. Certain meals can remind you of certain things. So it's super powerful. So you felt the connection, to food early on.
And it was insane that we would talk about this, where food is so powerful, where you can have a bad day and you had a great meal, you forgot about your bad day. We needed to survive. I knew getting into this business, I knew I'd never be without friends. I'll never go hungry.
Absolutely.
And I have the best connections when I want to go have dinner with my friends and family.
For sure.
Chefs love to spoil each other, and I remember when the first time I had a friend who worked at a restaurant and I wanted to impress my girlfriend. He came out 20 courses later. Never saw that girl again. It takes a lot to be able to date a chef, but it's a privilege, and it's a pleasure to be around. And I'm always inspired by the people in my community. I'm always inspired by some of my mentor chefs, because at the end of the day, who you work for is an asset of what you're going to become.
Right.
So a lot of advice that I always give to young chefs is, you want to be great, you work for great chefs. If you work for low caliber chefs, you're going to become a low caliber chef. And I say that because the first 4 to 5 years of a career, whatever you're doing, whether you're interning, whether you're cooking, whether you're in music, you got to be a sponge.
Sure.
And I sacrificed my entire childhood. From the age of 18 to 21, I was nothing but in restaurants. I showed up early, whether I got paid or not. I stayed late. And I just kept getting better and better. And by 22, I became the youngest executive chef in New York City.
Man, highly sought out.
I still got goosebumps to this day.
I'm pretty sure your phone was going crazy.
Oh my God, it was one of the most, I got a lot of highlights in my life, and I feel like every single one that keeps coming is just getting better and better and better. I think one of the things that I miss out in life is enjoying the moment. And I'm very blessed to say that I do so many amazing events. I cook for so many amazing people that I forget to take 10 minutes and just say, wow, just take a look around at where I'm at,
What was the first moment where you realized, like, wow, I can really monetize on this craft, and I'm talented, and I can take it to another level?
I think I was 21 going on 22, and I was a junior sous chef at a French restaurant called Café des Artistes. It was a New York City landmark. It was open for 70 years, right across from Tavern on the Green on Central Park West. And an opportunity presented itself. The general manager and I were getting really close for working for 2 to 3 years. And he says, I might have an opportunity for you to be a chef. And I said, I can't be a chef. I'm too young. And he's like, stupid. I love the relationship we have. 'Cause sometimes he was like a father figure. He's like, stupid. You're gonna know all of the answers to the questions they're gonna ask because it's your food.
That's right.
And I'm like, you're right. I was looking for every excuse not to take the job until he literally laid it out there for me. And I said, okay, I gotta jump on this opportunity. And network is net worth, right?
Right.
The more you network, the more people you meet, the more opportunities open up. And I realized at that point when I became a chef at 22, I was like, all right, I got some talent. And then, you know, there's highs and there's lows. 2 years later, that restaurant had to close down. I went from being in Westchester to coming back to New York City. And I was the youngest guy going on job interviews. And everyone kept saying, who is this kid?
Right.
At least I got the opportunity to cook for someone. Because I know once I cook for you, I got you.
Yeah.
You're gonna meet my personality, you're gonna see my big smile, you're gonna taste my food. And everyone always said, who is this kid that's cooking this type of food? It's insane. And there were times where I didn't get the executive chef job, but sometimes you gotta realize you gotta take a couple steps back to move forward. And it's not the sprint, it's the marathon.
Absolutely.
And those are things that I live by, because we're in a society right now that people wanna graduate and people wanna make $100,000 as soon as they get out. It doesn't work like that. You can't climb that ladder without hitting every single ring.
Absolutely. And so when you were going on these interviews, knowing that there isn't a lot of people that look and sound like you in these rooms, how did you feel? Like, what was your mentality when knowing that you're kicking down these doors?
I'm not gonna lie, Los, it was intimidating. And there were days where, you give it your all, and you know that they're just giving you an opportunity because they have to. Or, people were honest enough later on in life to say, we couldn't give you the job because we felt that you were inexperienced, even though your food is incredible. There was one place that gave me an opportunity because they saw the long run, right? They saw the marathon. They saw the opportunity to create. So they created a position for me.
It's amazing.
It was a hotel on 37th Street between 5th and 6th. I was 24 years old. It was called the Strand Hotel at the time. And here I am having a place where it overlooks the Empire State Building on the rooftop. I'm in Midtown Manhattan. And they created a chef de cuisine position, which meant that I was responsible for the restaurant and the hotel would have an executive chef. Granted, I had no hotel experience. I never did room service, never did any place that had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I can understand why they didn't give me the position. But let's just say 8 months later, I got that executive chef position. You work hard, you put yourself in a position, and you show that, no is never the answer. But you can't always be upset that when you get that no that first time. There's gonna be 10 no's before you finally get that yes. It's when you start doubting yourself and say, maybe this is not for me, let's change it up. Keep working hard. And nobody wants to hear the cliche things. I write everything down. I write checklists every day. I love feeling accomplished. There's nothing better than crossing something off of your list.
Yeah.
So by me doing that, I feel like I can hit targets. So did I think I was gonna be a chef at 22? Absolutely not.
Right.
Did I think I was gonna be running a hotel at 24? Absolutely not. But it's how you motivate yourself and what you really want to sacrifice. Like I said, I think to be great, you sacrifice your life until you get to that point. I'm 35 years old right now, and I can say I've done things that half chefs have done in their career. And I'm not stopping anytime soon.
Absolutely. We got work to do, baby. We got work.
No sleeping, right?
Yeah. So you are of Dominican descent. And you're from the Bronx, right?
Proud Latino, born in Harlem. I live in the Bronx now. I've had the cool opportunity to live in almost every borough except Staten Island in New York.
Gotcha. Now, when you're climbing up this ladder at 22, how does that influence carry over to where you're from?
I think in life, you meet a certain amount of people for certain reasons, right? Just like relationships, right? You have relationships that are gonna teach you how to love. You're gonna have relationships that are gonna teach you how to get hurt. They're gonna be relationships that are gonna teach you the signs to grow and not be selfish and know that this is a partnership. For me, the groups of friends that I had, I always said I had the Queens crew, the Bronx crew, the Brooklyn crew, right? Every set of friends, either you kept excelling with me or you got left behind. And I'm not afraid to say that we weren't given the same opportunities. I was born and raised in the projects. I was living off of food stamps and not knowing what that was, because to me, when mom gave me $5, that was $5 to me. It wasn't until I was 20 when I was like, oh, those are food stamps?
Right.
I thought that was cash.
Yeah.
This is what we paid food for.
We didn't know anything.
And from that moment on, I knew that I was blessed with two amazing parents that no matter how hard things were on them, they never let us know that. I still got my Sega Genesis, my Nintendo 64, my PlayStation 1, because I worked hard for that, and they worked hard to make sure that we were compensated as well. So at that moment on, I realized that I got to do everything I can in my power to make my parents proud. There were opportunities where not everyone understood why I couldn't come out and have fun and play baseball on the weekends, because there's no way you're getting a job in a restaurant where you got weekends off. Holidays, don't even think about it. It's a sacrifice. So if you're willing to sacrifice your life, everything will be able, I want to be able to work as hard as I can, because after 40, I want to chill. I want to relax. I want to have the empire that I've been building the brand and working so hard for put in motion. Not saying that I'm not gonna cook, not saying that I'm not gonna, I want to open up more opportunities. I want to do different things. I want to write a cookbook. I want to have a TV show. And those are the opportunities that are hopefully coming if I put it into the universe.
It's out there now, so you know what I mean?
Again, write it down, and when we get it, we cross it off.
Yeah, man. So I want to throw it back to the Valentine's Day dinner that I went to. That was so amazing that you threw. And, it's like it was sold out for like 4 or 5 days straight. Right?
Yeah, we had a 4-day, 50 people. I like when Valentine's Day is intimacy, right? I want sexy, I want grown. My girlfriend is an incredible artist.
Yes.
First time I heard her sing, I was like, that woman's gonna sing at every event I have. Because now my event goes from great to spectacular.
Yeah.
And
big shout out to Chachi Nation. Big shout out to Chachi Nation.
Chachi's incredible. And it's such an amazing blessing to say that I can do pop-up dinners. And that's a whole different genre of what chefs are doing. Either you're a restaurant chef, you're a private chef. I try to do it all.
Yeah, you're innovating. You're innovating within this space, and you're changing the game.
You want to be able to be creative, right? I've always said it's not about the money for me, right? You really do say, don't chase money, money will come. I'm at a point in my life, money's just coming. Right. And it's because of the opportunities and working to the brand, to creating your brand. I think it's important. And doing that pop-up dinner, we sold out. One night, let's do another one. Another night, I felt like I was Romeo with Aventura, bro.
That's right, man.
Every time you put another one out, it was sold out.
Yeah.
And it was such a blessing to be able to do that, to go in somewhere like in Mott Haven in the Bronx, where not everyone's knowing. We had this awesome location. Shout out to Motley Kitchen.
Yeah.
They let us come in, do our thing, and we put on a hell of a show.
What I really found, aesthetically just pleasing was obviously watching the plates come out because I was starving.
That excitement when the waiter's coming with your food.
But like I was watching the way that you were working with your team, because
you had the view of the kitchen. You
had the entire team there, and you're like commanding the show, but you're also getting your hands dirty. So to watch you, host this whole event, and you're in the front, you're in the back, you're commanding, you're in the kitchen, you're cooking. It's like it goes to show that Chef Kelvin not only he's getting his hands dirty as well. He won't ask anybody to do anything he won't do himself.
I think the most important thing is, Los, I can tell you, you're only great as your team is. So as your weakest team mate is, that's how strong you are. So if I have nothing but great people, I surround myself by greatness, I treat them with respect. I call everybody chef. Whether you're a dishwasher, they'll joke around. They'll be a server. I'm like, yes, chef. They're like, you're the chef. I'm like, doesn't matter. We're all at the same level.
That's amazing.
You know what I mean? Because I want everybody to grow. And we talk about opportunities. We talk about opening doors, because it was really difficult to climb that ladder as a young Latino in a predominantly, this is 20 years ago, in a predominantly world where we weren't given those opportunities.
Right.
So there was a restaurant that told me one time I had to tone down my flavors.
Right. I read about that.
It blew my mind.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a proud Dominican. I'm a proud Latino. I want to be able to represent as much as I can, even though I was born in New York City. That's my culture. There's I go
full
to
of flavor.
It's full of flavor. I go to Dominican Republic as much as I can. I would love to buy a home out there too. Hopefully in the future. Again, putting it out there, putting it out there. The universe, you hear it. But I was creating what I love. I've done French, I've done Italian, I've done American, I've done Asian, and I've done Latin. So what's cool about my food, and this was, I guess, maybe way too soon for its time, but I was infusing flavors, French and Spanish, Latin and Asian, American and Spanish, and people weren't understanding the spice level. And it's not spicy, it's spice, like flavor. You take a bite, it smacks you right in the face. And they're like, Kelvin, our clientele is not gonna understand that. Let's teach them.
All right.
Let's teach them. I remember opening up my first Latin restaurant, Blend on the Water, where I created the arepa. It wasn't on the menu. I want to be able to I love to introduce myself with food, right? So here you are, getting something that I like to call a welcome bite. And it's a tease, man, because you take that one bite and you're like,
oh, dude,
what did I just experience?
Yeah.
And you want more. I had people who were like, yo, tell the chef I'll give him $100 for an order of that. I'm sorry, that's not on the menu. Chef only makes enough for everyone that's coming in. And then I remember it was like a month of people saying you got to put it on the menu. We finally did, and it's still to this day, it's my signature dish, you know?
Man.
It's what I beat Bobby Flay with.
That's right. I remember, you know, when you were at Blend on the Water, and it was like impossible to get a reservation there for a minute, just because everybody was going there because you were
The support is amazing. And what I love about the community, the Latin community, as long as you're doing something positive, they're gonna help push you to the top as much as they can. I remember that was my first opportunity just doing Latin food.
Right.
And they had the name. It was called Blend, a blend of Latin flavors. And that was where I wanted to change and show the world that we're not just about rice and beans.
Right.
We don't have to put rice and beans on every plate. Let's do a citrus crusted salmon with cilantro, mashed potatoes, and a pineapple butter sauce. Let's do
sounds
the
amazing, right?
arepa eggs Benedict with chorizo. And like eggs Benedict is a traditional French classic. You know, you got the English muffin, the Canadian bacon, the hollandaise sauce. I'm like, let's take that to the next level. Let's add cilantro. Let's add smoked paprika. Let's add truffle hot sauce. Let's add the chorizo instead of bacon. Let's put a yuca croquette instead of an English muffin.
Right.
And again, that was special to me because that showed right there that the Latin community was going to support you every step of the way as long as you're doing something positive. And fast forward to my next opportunity after that was La Marina. For me, La Marina was such an important part of my career. And I'll say this why. I remember them reaching out to me in 2012. And I had this mentality of like, I'm in Midtown Manhattan. Why would I go to Uptown? Why would I go to 200th Street by the water? Granted, it's absolutely beautiful. I just didn't feel like they would understand my food, right? 2014-15, I finally meet Fernando Mateo. And that man was a genius. He had a plan. He's like, this is what we're gonna do. Your food is gonna change. It's gonna take a while for them to understand, but let's give them best of both worlds. Let's give them what they love. Let's keep the highlighted, make it your way. And that's what I love because it's always respectable as a chef that comes in. For me, I have too much pride. I don't wanna see any other dishes that are not mine on the menu.
Right.
So for me, that was a little fight too. And Fernando made me see things like, Kelvin, you have to understand that we have a clientele. You don't have to completely keep it the same way, just make it Chef Kelvin style.
Right.
So there were dishes that became signatures for me that I learned at La Marina. Wow. You know, so you gotta be able to adapt. You gotta be able to understand your clientele. And I'll never forget this, still to this day. I remember taking the train from Queens. I was living in Queens, I didn't have a car back then. And I took that 1 hour and 45-minute train ride
all the way
to
uptown.
Dyckman Street.
Yeah.
Got off, and there was a gentleman, an older gentleman, said, Chef Kelvin, shook my hand, welcome to Uptown, we've been waiting for you. Gave me goosebumps instantly, and I was like, I don't know if Fernando, and I joke around with Fernando, I don't know if Fernando paid this guy to wait for me. I don't know how he knew that I was coming at that time, but it changed my life. It set the tone, and I said, all right, Washington Heights, I'm up here. Uptown, I'm here, and I'm gonna make you proud. But it wasn't easy. People were asking for chicken wings. People were asking rice and beans, and I was like, no disrespect, but if you want that, we got a lot of amazing restaurants on the strip that do that. I'm gonna give you flavor, I'm gonna give you love, and I'm gonna show you what Chef Kelvin's all about. And we had a successful 2 seasons.
Man, that's amazing. And it just goes to show that, like, again, to your point earlier, that the Latin community will support you, and also, you know, the appreciation for your innovation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're bringing something totally new to the game, and people were loving it. You know,
it was probably the hardest job I've ever had. It was 70,000 square feet. Like, I'm talking about, we got a beach kitchen, we got a lounge kitchen, we had trucks that were feeding the lounge, we had a catering company, we had I must have had 50 employees. I must have had 5 sous chefs, and it's the only job that I was on a headset.
right?
Talking to my team. Guys, how's the beach doing? Beach is going down. We need more of this. We need 2 guys. It was so much fun. And what I loved about it is, if you find a job that you're challenged every day, you're not gonna leave that job.
Absolutely.
You know, it came to a point where that was the first time that I used my social media platform to hire a team. And it was the best team that I put together. I was honored that I had guys that were giving their 3, because La Marina was seasonal. We're open from April to September. people were giving leave of absences at their current jobs that they've had for current years to just come work with me. People were stepping down from sous chef positions to be line cooks with me. And at that moment, I'm like, that's insane. That's crazy. I can't believe people are leaving their managerial positions to take steps down just to be with me. And that meant the world to me. Still to this day, that it feels incredible. It feels like I'm doing my job. I'm doing something right. And still to this day, we have this circle. We got a group chat on Instagram where we talk to each other, we inspire each other, we motivate each other every day. We send dishes, we send ideas. And again, it's all about opening opportunities. If I can't do something, I'm gonna give it to one of my guys that I trust.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm only as great as my team. And we're not physically a team, but we are spiritually, mentally,
Absolutely.
and as people, because we're family. And there's so many people that like to compete where there's so much opportunity in this world. We can all make money together.
Absolutely.
We can all feed the people. We can feed the same people too, you know? And if we're opening doors for each other, I know I just want them to do the same thing for me, and I know they will. That's why doors are opening. It's inspiring.
Just on the topic of feeding the people, how important is it for you to share the information, with others who are aspiring to do what you're doing as you're blazing your own trail?
I'm very hands-on. I like having the opportunity to come in and cook with my team. You know, there's not a, let's say if this is the restaurant world, because again, you know, I have my own business now. I haven't been in a restaurant for about 3 years now.
So independent,
and it's completely different.
Yeah.
You know, I think probably the hardest thing that I ever did was make that decision and then realize why I didn't do it sooner.
Right.
You know, because you're always scared when you're gonna take that jump, right? You're gonna go from a consistent check to not knowing when that check is coming in, when is money coming in. So you have to be able to adapt. And you have to be able to understand that this is gonna change. So as hard as you work, it's gonna show when that money's coming in, right? And being able to teach my team that it's okay to take that jump and that leap of faith is probably the best thing I've ever done, because now we're all personal chefs now. We're all private chefs. We got a pandemic going on. There are no restaurants. We had 3 months of people not having the opportunity to have food. So what did we do? We created pop-up restaurants in our apartment. We gave people the opportunity. One chef was doing barbecue. The next chef was doing Asian Latin dumplings. I'm selling arepas. We're all posting each other's food on our media platform. Hey, you don't only have to get arepas from me. We got options.
It's a whole community.
And it's that support that makes me feel like this is that chef family. Because at the end of the day, it's so big, yet it's so small. And we love opening doors for other people.
When you say that you're going to look for somebody the very best who can fulfill, what you would do, it's your team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that you've created, and it's just
Los,
it's an amazing thing to have.
The hardest thing in life is recommending someone. I learned that a long time ago. I made my first mistake in recommending someone just because they were family, and they disappointed me. Not everyone is going to work as hard as you are. Not everyone's going to have the same pride in a job. So I make sure that from now on, anyone that I put my name behind is going to be the very best.
I know it's public information. You're cooking for J-Lo and A-Rod.
Blessing.
Absolutely, the biggest blessing.
It's a game changer.
Yeah.
This is why it's so important that you treat every single individual you meet in life with respect, no matter who they are. You don't know who anybody could be. This young lady came to my event 5 years prior to me starting to work with Jennifer Lopez. And she came to one of my events, remembered my food, remembered my smile, remembered my charisma. She was messaging me on social media, Instagram, and she's like, do you do personal cooking? Absolutely. I would love for you to cook for my client, JL. JL could be Jason Lopez, John Luizos, or Jennifer Lopez. I didn't know who that was. And for some reason, that moment in time, the universe didn't work out for us. We kept missing each other. We kept missing calls. We kept not being able to lock down a day.
Right.
8 months later, I see that text come in. This is so-and-so with Jennifer Lopez. And then I'm scrolling and I'm like, holy crap. Like, this could have happened a long time ago. And I'm like, how did you find me? She told me the story of how we met at that pop-up dinner, and I'm like, here I am in Jennifer Lopez and Alex Rodriguez's house, and I'm about to cook a meal of my lifetime. That was one of the most nerve-wracking things.
What was the first thing you cooked?
I went to their house in the city, and I had to do breakfast. Jennifer is such a inspirational woman. Alex is inspirational. They walk in and their presence is just, it lights you up. It lights up the room. I had a couple hours to do breakfast for them, just as them trying my food. I did arepas eggs benedicts. I did French toast. I did simple, egg white scramble, just so they can see the flavor profiles and tasting. I had to give them what they normally like to eat on a regular basis, and then I had to show them what Chef Kelvin does.
Yeah.
And then from that moment on, I had the opportunity to do Thanksgiving dinner for them. Not the whole week, it was just the weekend because their chef couldn't do it. And from that moment on, I'm the guy that comes in for every holiday now. It's something that food changes a lot. And I joke around, Los, when I say this, and I say this at all my dinners. If I'm doing a private dinner or a pop-up event, I'm like, my name is Kelvin Fernandez, and if you hadn't had my food, I am sorry because I've messed up your life, and you will always have my food now. So let's say if you have Chef Kelvin's arepa, no arepa will ever be the same again. Absolutely. And I'm not doing something that's traditional. What I love about being a chef is there's no plagiarism in food. You're either gonna make it better or you're gonna mess it up. Right. And what I do with food is I take the original ingredients and just make it mine. Let's reinvent it. So if you have my arepa, it's not a traditional Colombian, it's not a traditional Venezuelan, it's not a Dominican arepa, it's Chef Kelvin's arepa. And that's what I always like to say around. So I'm like, I have these people for life. I have DMs on a regular basis where they're like, I gotta find a way to get your mac and cheese again because I'm on a mac and cheese fix and nothing just hits that bar. Right. So I can never get tired of hearing how people love my food, Los. That's something that is gonna be with me forever.
Yeah, I mean that's just that's the byproduct of what you're putting out there. So that's amazing. And again, I mean that I still talk about that Valentine's Day dinner till this day, man.
It was a pleasure, but you got to learn how to adapt too. Like I was not the healthy chef that people were telling me to do now. You have to be able to adapt. Clients like mine are athletes, are people that need to be in shape, and I had to learn how to adapt.
Can we talk about how you how you infuse a healthy ingredients into traditional Latin cooking?
Yeah, it's tough. I'm not gonna lie. Because growing up in a Latin household, it's like, I'm not gonna lie, I had tres golpes every Saturday. And if you don't know what tres golpes is, it's a big plate of mangú with fried salami, fried cheese, fried egg, and probably fried longaniza. Like, that is like a artery clog. I can't believe that I ate that every Saturday. I'm not gonna lie, it was delicious. But I tell my mom, like, there's no way I ate this big plate. Looking at it now, I'm like, I just need a couple bites. The hardest thing is mimicking that flavor punch that comes with Latin food. So I've learned to start mixing certain spices. Some of my favorite spices are cumin, coriander, smoked paprika, always a touch of cayenne, and cardamom. These are like flavors that are not traditionally mixed together. But I learned that if you learn how to season while using natural juices to reduce, I do something that's always called, like a juice reduction. So we'll do fresh squeezed orange juice or fresh blended pineapple juice. You put that in a pot, you let that reduce, which means it concentrates in flavor. So if I have a cup of orange juice, I leave it to a quarter cup, finish it with a little bit of avocado oil or something that's natural to bind it together. Now I have a healthy, butterless sauce that's gonna take that dish to the next level. So being able to find ways to create those layers of flavors and textures, because that's what food is all about. Absolutely. Food can be great, but if it's one-noted, your palate is such a powerful thing that you could take the first bite, you can be like, wow, but if it's one-dimensional, by the fifth bite, you're bored. Yeah. What I like to do is do layers of textures and flavors. So every time you're having a bite, you're like, wow, okay, I didn't expect that one. Okay, there's crispy, now there's sweet, now there's salty. And that's the difference between making a great plate of food and an incredible plate of food that you're gonna remember forever. So that's the hardest thing with healthy food, just finding the right spices, being able to not cook with dairy, not cook with, even using vegan options. Those are things that I just started learning now.
I'm definitely gonna need some of those natural, spices that you were just talking about, because I'm looking to get away from the adobo, the Goya, you know what I'm saying? Like ever since I saw the president of Goya support Trump, I was like, I can't do this no more. So it's wild. What was your thought on that?
It hits my heart, bro, and I'll tell you why. Yes, Goya has done a lot of amazing things to support the community, to give so many Latinos jobs. Yeah. I just feel in a world state where we're at right now, where we have so many kids that are taken away from their families. Mm-hmm. I hate to use the word locked up, right, but they're locked up. Yeah. You're away from your family. And when I saw that support, I'm like, what do I have that's Goya? I don't want to support this. And it's a touchy subject.
It is.
And I remember posting on my social media and having friends that I thought would be on my side weren't on my side. And it's okay to not see the eye to eye, but let's have a grown conversation.
Yes.
Where the end result is not us mad at each other. Because we can have that conversation, and some people you can't. I'm always been a guy who tries not to get into politics, but we're in a world where everyone needs to speak up and say what matters. Yeah. Because if you don't, again, people are not going to follow along and do the same thing. That's why voting's important. Yeah. Everybody always feels like, oh, my vote doesn't matter. Every single one counts. So when that happened, I'm not going to lie, the very next day, I put up a little spice blend. You want to make your own adobo at home, guys? This is how you do it. You want to make your own sazon? Here are the ingredients that you need.
That's amazing.
So
that's amazing.
I kind of want to make my own spice blend. Now's the time.
Can we put it out in the universe?
Let's do it. We're gonna do it.
We're gonna put it out in the universe.
I would love that.
It's out there.
I would love that because it's tough. I want to be able to support everything that has to do with the Latin community, but if you're not in the right frame of mind with the world and what's going on and who you support, it's tough.
I saw that you were doing live classes.
Yeah.
You know, you were doing tutorials.
Yeah, I love teaching.
How did social media during the pandemic benefit, what you do?
It was a game changer because I was able to use, before the pandemic happened, I was already planning to launch my YouTube series. I had a studio set up. Shout out to the Institute of Culinary Education. I have an incredible partnership with them where I'm a chef, where I teach classes out there. They give me their studio and they're like, Kelvin, all we want you to do is create magic, create what you do, and just put it out there for the kids and the people to learn. I had a videographer ready on my team and the pandemic happened. And I said to myself, am I gonna make an excuse and wait till this is over, or am I gonna do this? And all right, I filmed on my iPhone. I edited on my computer. I'm not gonna lie, that first time I edited that video, it took me 7 hours. I'm not even gonna lie, let's track that back. The first time I did a video, I didn't even know that I could press pause. I shot from minute 1 to minute 11 nonstop. And then I loaded it into the program and I'm like, oh shit, I can edit, I can copy and paste. I'm like, all right, Kelvin, we're not gonna film this again, but let's just learn.
Do you think that if the pandemic didn't hit, that you would have taken that initiative to edit the video?
No,
so it's almost like,
I would have.
It gave you an opportunity.
It gave me an opportunity to learn, and also appreciate the people that do that. Yeah. Now I know I don't mind paying. You deserve the amount that you're asking for because it's a lot of work, a lot of details. I'd rather be the magic behind the scenes and let everyone make the magic so we can make it beautiful together. So, but I'm grateful for the pandemic because it taught me to be creative. It taught me to be able to readapt, and it taught me to not stop because of a little obstacle, right? One of the best things that I learned when I was 15, I cut almost my entire part of my thumb off. 15 years old, crying. I'm crying. Blood is coming out. Saturday night, we have 250 reservations. I want to go home. I'm working hot apps, and the chef says, are you gonna let 2% of your body affect the other 98%? And I looked at him and I said, no, chef. They wrapped that thing up so big. I'm here. It's weird how much your thumb is important. I could barely flip a saute pan. But guess what? By him saying that, I'll never forget that. You can't let 2% of an obstacle affect the other 98 of what you're trying to do in life.
That's big, man. That's a quote.
Shout out to George Mazarov. God bless you wherever you are. Yeah. He was like one of the toughest chefs I ever worked for.
How has your motivation to cook changed since when you got in the game to right now?
I think the most important thing is I'm hungry. I just want more. I'm never satisfied, but I'm appreciative. I'm very blessed. I'm very grateful, but I still want more. And the reason is I want to do things that I want my son to be proud of. Being on television is fun. And being able to talk about my son on television is better because watching it with him, he's like, Daddy, go back to my part. It's 3 seconds. But if it makes him smile, that's all I want to do. Now he's 10 years old. He's at the age where he's bragging to his friends. My dad's a celebrity chef. You can Google him. I'm like, what are you talking about? I just want you to be happy. I want you to see that I work hard, and I want you to see that every sacrifice that I'm making right now is for you to have a better future, for us to have a better future. And I want to teach you about the things that I didn't learn when I was young, like how important credit is, how important it is to save your money, how important it is to learn, to be that sponge, to start working in whatever you love or show interest in. Now I know why my parents put me in every sport. Did I need to do football, baseball, and wrestling? No, but I'm grateful that they let me do that because I loved it. So whatever my son shows interest in, you wanna do music class? Cool. You wanna do a robotics class to learn how to build robots? Absolutely, whatever you want, because you never know what that might come later on in the future. I constantly inspire myself, and I say this because in my apartment, I have the very first article that was ever written about me in the Daily News. I can never forget the feeling that it gave me opening up that newspaper and then being out in front of that little Sunday. There was always a Sunday insert in color.
Okay.
I was on the front page.
Oh man.
My mind, my goosebumps, calling my mom, being in a pizza shop, pizza is my favorite food. I can eat pizza every day.
I love pizza. Yeah.
And I was in the pizza shop, and I remember how happy I was. I showed the guy, I was living in the Bronx in Parkchester, and I was like, look at this. Yeah. I remember that feeling, so I have that framed up. And every day before I leave work, I look at that. And the article said, Chef Kelvin is not even 30, and he's taken over New York City by storm. I constantly want to be able to inspire myself.
Absolutely.
And if I don't do that, what am I doing? What am I working so hard for?
Yeah, for real. I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's really why we're doing it, to inspire others and to really change the narrative for people that look and sound like us, people that come from where we come from, and that's if we're not doing that, then.
I think you touched on a great subject, Los. You said being able to teach people what we didn't learn, and being able to have those opportunities and have what I like to call the head start. I wish I learned what I knew now, because I would have more opportunities. So that's what it is. I love teaching. I love teaching people how to cook. I love teaching people about life. I love teaching people how to communicate and why is it so important to walk in with a smile everywhere you go. Because it's all about the positive energy, right? Attitude determines altitude.
Absolutely.
I will never forget that. Alex Rodriguez taught me that. Here I am thinking I'm making an impact everyday life, and this guy is using me as an example. When I first started cooking for him, he was doing a seminar at a college, and he took a photo of my Instagram, posted it on the screen in front of maybe 50 college students, and he said, boy, I got this new chef, and this guy is literally running sprints in my kitchen. Attitude determines altitude.
On No Sleeping in the Trophy Room, we have a segment called Power Plays.
Plays.
So what are some power plays that you would share with somebody who's going to watch this at home, who may be 16, 17, 18, just younger, that is inspiring to do things just like you did, or maybe even take it to another level? Like, what are some keys that you could share?
I think, Los, the most important thing, I know I said this earlier, surround yourself by greatness. That's not always easy. I'll tell you how it becomes easy. Volunteering. Nobody loves to do anything for free. When I was 15, 16, 17, I didn't get paid for my jobs. I went to every single event, whether it was No Kid Hungry event, Food Network, food and wine seminars, James Beard award dinners. The amount of chefs that I met opened up the doors for me to go work for people like Alfred Portali, Marcus Samuelson, Daniel Boulou, Jean George, just to name a few of the creme de la creme in New York City. But if I didn't do those things, I wouldn't have the opportunity to surround myself by greatness. Then you create that opportunity where you can say, hey, I've worked for him, and then more doors will open.
That's the resume.
So surround yourself by greatness. Be willing to sacrifice. Sacrificing your time. What's more important? Creating an opportunity to have a passion and have that line of climbing the ladder little by little, or going to play softball with your friends on Saturday. Granted, I wanted to be there.
Yeah.
But if I didn't make those sacrifices, I wouldn't have been in the position where I'm at now. And not everyone is going to have the opportunity like I did. I found a passion very young. And I think not being afraid to change careers. It's never too late to follow your passion. And people are always like, oh, it's too late to cook. Listen, I've seen people that are lawyers and see how much fun they're having cooking. I've seen very successful DJs become cooks and chefs. Shout out to DJ Dubs,
DJ
who
Dubs.
was J-Lo. I met because we were doing J-Lo's New Year's Eve, and he was on tour with her for her tour. And seeing him over the pandemic really take things to the next level is inspiring. And to know that I inspired him,
Yeah,
I feel like my job is done every
that's the
day.
reward.
I think it's important to never stop learning. And if you learn something new every single day, that's a success. I have something that comes to me every day. It's a word of the day in my email. I like to try to use it every day. I didn't get to open it today. I wish I did, but it's important for me to constantly learn. And what I love about food, if I get tired of doing American food, let's go try something else. The cultures are limitless. And that's what I love about traveling. That's why I love about eating food. That's why I love about being able to go across the world, take a bite of something and be like, okay, how can I bring this to where I'm doing it, where no one's doing it on our side of the world?
When you're at restaurants, are you very critical are you a very critical person at the table? I know you're a critical person in the kitchen.
It's tough, Los, and I'll say that because I think anybody I'm gonna use my girlfriend for example. She's an artist. So she'll listen to music and she'll be like, oh, there was a note that was off there.
Yeah.
Oh, that drum shouldn't have been so high.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the same way. This chair is not as comfortable as it should be. Yeah. This is gonna keep me here for 90 minutes instead of an hour and 50 minutes, you know? It's a lot of little things. The service of, I'm in the service industry, so I notice things that a lot of people shouldn't notice because I'm very detail oriented.
Absolutely.
My goal in the restaurant every day was walk in, take a look around for 2 minutes, walk into the kitchen, say hi to every single person, and then see what's wrong. Write them down, talk about them in the morning meeting, and just get action done. So when I walk into places, I'm gonna be a bad critic and it sucks. But guess what? I'm not the guy that writes on Yelp when they have a bad experience. I'm the guy who's gonna write an email
It's a special type of
on the
person
side
who makes it Yelp.
to let people know like, hi, I was here, and these are the things that I saw. I want you guys to get better.
Yeah.
But if it's a great meal, I'm gonna definitely go on Open Table. I'm gonna definitely go on Yelp and let people know about an experience. I like to say that I can become a food blogger. The good thing about this business is I don't have to be a chef only. You know, the opportunity to be an entrepreneur in this world is incredible. Here I am teaching people on my YouTube. Here I am using my Instagram to give people recipes and doing my Instagram live tutorials when I can because those were the things that I was doing in the pandemic. I never cooked more in my life than the past 3 months.
And it's almost like, you know, the same way you infuse different cuisines, it's like you can, with all your learning from then to now and technology, it's like you can infuse the hustle. You know what I mean? It's like
this next generation has a lot of advantages.
Right.
I think it's important for them to take advantage of it and be able to use. I think the hardest thing is to creating a brand, right? And the way I use my social media is it's a brand. I'm Chef Kelvin, and I learned that my name is not Kelvin anymore. There's times I'm in the street, Chef. I gotta turn around to see who it is, you know?
Yeah, for real.
and it's a blessing because, for example, the other day I'm loading up my car to go to an event, and there's a nurse passing by, and she's like, I follow you on Instagram. I love your food, and I can't wait for this to be over so I can taste it. That makes me feel great. That makes me feel like people are watching, and I just want to keep making people proud.
When you step out of the kitchen one day, you said at 40, you know, you want to relax, I want
to be on a boat eating caviar on the weekends, and I don't like caviar.
You know, what do you want people to remember about Chef Kelvin? You know, if we were athletes, we could leave the field. How do you want them to remember?
Yeah,
when
you want to leave a legacy, you know, and I'm not saying I'm better than anyone else. I just want to be remembered for putting out great food, for always smiling and creating memories. I want to be able to say that I was satisfied with being able to do every single thing possible to be happy. As you get older in life, you realize what matters, right? Health, family, time. These are things that we don't get back.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's important for you to have a good piece of mental health. And now when I meet people and I talk to people, I'm like, how are you? How are you feeling? How's your mental health? Yeah. It's such an important question.
It really
because
is.
You can be great on so many aspects, but there's a time where you're allowed to be like, okay, I'm not having a good day today. But let's find ways to get over it. Because the longer you dwell on things, the longer it's harder for you to get out of it. And
isn't that kind of crazy? Like
yeah.
how we were kind of raised, you know, to not show emotion.
Yeah.
kind of tuck things in, and it's like,
I never, sorry to cut you off, Los.
Yeah.
I've never seen my father cry until his mother passed away. And my dad never gave me a bigger hug than that moment right there.
same.
And it's tough to see your strongest character at his weakest moment. But you want to be there to make it better, right? And this was 6 years ago. And you go through some things. My dad, unfortunately, got really sick through the pandemic. And getting that phone call from the doctor saying, hey, if we need to do this to your dad, is it okay? I'm like, wait, is it that serious? Right. No, but when it does happen, we don't have time. So we need to make actions. And that was the time where I just realized my dad is too young to go away. Right. My dad is too young to get out of this life. I'm like, I still gotta have more grandkids for him. Absolutely, my parents are young, and I remember my mom always saying, I'm too young to be a grandmother. Now she's like, when are you giving me another one? I'm like, I'm the only one that gave you a grandchild. You got 3 other siblings, go bother them. Yeah. So you learn that the most important thing is time. So everything you do, put value into it. Every time that you spend, that's why for me, I'm never late. I value people's time. If I'm gonna be late, I'm giving you a 20-minute heads up. Hey, I'm gonna be 5, 10. People think I'm crazy when I'm like, I'll be there at 7:11. I'll be there at 10:14, right. Because time is precise. And I used to yell at my barber on a regular basis. Now he's so better at letting me know that he's late, because if I'm gonna sit in my car for 30 minutes, let me do something productive. Absolutely. Don't let me waste my time, because I will never waste your time. It's value, right? You gotta respect people's time. So stop being late, people.
For real, man, for real.
Especially for your reservations. 15-minute warning is a 15-minute warning. They will give away your table.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, for real. And thank you for pulling up super early today. I saw you parked outside. I was like, is that Chef Kelvin? That is Chef Kelvin, and he's a half hour early. Yeah. That's what's up. Let's go.
Because I value people's time, and I had some emails to answer too.
For sure, man. No, that's amazing. So Chef Kelvin, we usually end these interviews with something called the champion's mantra, which is, if we were in a locker room, every team has their slogan. Everybody has their thing that they wake up and live by. Whether it's a saying, a routine. What is that thing that kind of just is a reminder for you, just on a daily basis, man?
Can I say 2 things?
For sure.
Food is life, and work hard, play hard.
There it is.
That's it for me.
It really is. It really is. Food is life. Work hard, play hard.
You say it, and it just rolls off the tongue because. And I'm not saying like party hard, I'm saying that the harder you work in life, the better you'll be able to relax later on.
Chef Kelvin, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to step into the trophy room. This is amazing.
Next time you have me, I'll bring food.
For real, man. Yo, look, I can't wait till the next dinner, and I look forward to everything that you're about to do. My brother, thank you so much.
You, appreciate you, my brother.
You always have to keep going to another level. So I stand on the shoulders of my successes and my trophies, but I don't sleep in the trophy room. No sleep.